Hello my friends and welcome to another tutorial. Today we are processing this shiny cigar and Bode Galaxy, going from this to this. So let's start editing. This image was kindly given to me for the purpose of this tutorial by my friend Matija Pozojević. Please check his website. I will link it below in the description. He has some killer images and he's been doing this for almost 2 decades, and he's one of my favorite photographers here in Croatia, so thank you, buddy. Lighthouse is a free script for PixInsight, and if you like to help support it, you can buy me a coffee or join my Patreon page. I really appreciate it. These two galaxies have very bright cores, and when you stretch them, they tend to overbrighten the middle part of the galaxies. Cigar has some elliptic shape, and Bode Galaxy also has semi-elliptic, maybe circle. They are both different in color. Cigar is blue and Bode is actually yellow. So we can use two masks with different values. Then we can use the options to lower down the brightnesses but have different effects. Let's start by creating the masks. Go to the Luminosity masks, enable it, and we'll add a region and create the first mask. Let me fix it. We want to apply it to the core. The mask can be a bit larger because we'll have the ability to feather it. Let's say this is good enough. A little bit wider. Okay, let's create a second mask. Add region, and I want to select the whole disk like so, and like so. Maybe a tiny bit smaller. Isn't this fun? Great. Now that we selected the both cores, we can now show the masks to see what we really have. Okay, this one is selected. Let's feather it. Okay, let's click on disk mask and feather it also. Remember, the applied masks are lights, depth 1 and target. We can go to depth 2. It will apply on both galaxies, and now we can see that the Bode Galaxy is actually brighter than the Cigar Galaxy. That part of this, you can see already some textures here on the depth 2, and not so many textures on the depth 2 on the Bode Galaxy. So we have different values of pixels, of luminance in the cores. So I want to, maybe I'll try it. We'll see how it goes. We can lower the strength of these masks on the Bode Galaxy. So then when we apply the whole tools of sliders onto those two masks, this will be lower. The strength will be lower of the mask, so it will not apply as hard as on this one. So you will see how we can do that in this script. remove show mask. Let's hide the ends and let's try highlights. We can already see the effect. When we go to before after, okay, now we can go to the highlight recovery, so we can recover the details behind those luminance. Okay, great. Maybe this is even too much, so we can lower the region. Let me show the ends. Okay, it's still, and show the mask. I don't like the feather, so we can increase the feathering and lower the strength. Okay, hide the ends, and let's see, let's bump up the saturation and vibrance to see some color. The cigar is turning very nice, as you can see. We can now see the H-alpha textures, and we can see some blue in the disc, so this is good. And here we can see textures in the core, but maybe it's too much. We can try and lower the strength and move the feather even more. So I'm playing now with the sliders to see what is the best for this particular image. Every image will be different, and you'll have to play with sliders and with masks and with the strength and feather of the masks to have the best possible outcome. Okay, it's not bad. Since we do have different values in the luminance, we also have different values in the saturation. You can see this galaxy is nice, the effect is very good. On this particular galaxy is not that very good because the saturation is very low, far low than this bright part of the galaxy. So we can do, let me show the ends. Okay, we did this first pass on the both galaxies. So let us apply and continue. It's always good to have sometimes one or two or three steps when you do the masking. You cannot do everything at once sometimes, especially with harder galaxies or harder objects that you want to edit. So this was in real time. Now we can select, let me enable Luminosity mask. Let's play just with one galaxy. We can also do that. Let me select. And now the selection can be maybe bigger. We will play with the feather. And let's go to lights 2. Show the mask. Feather it like crazy. Okay. Now we don't have to move the strength because we only have one mask. Remove. Let's try the highlights again. I forgot to hide the ends so they don't bother me. And let's try some more saturation here. Okay, now that yellow is coming out of the core. It's okayish, but it's not great. Let me see if I do this. I will lower down the feather. Before, after. Before, after. Now it's looking better. We have some residual darkening here, and we can fix that with just moving the mask tighter. We do have some feathering, and the feathering will help us apply this only on the core. We can always hide the ends to see what's going on. I see a line here, so I will move the feather. This is looking promising. Show the ends. Okay, and now I can also apply and continue. And we can move on to cigar and tweak it a bit more if we would like. And it is an iterative process if you want to have a nice galaxy in your image, because galaxies do hide their textures, especially near the cores, and it's always good to point that out and try to enhance that part. Okay, let's enable luminosity masks again, add region. So this is a step 3. Oopsie, maybe too big. Okay, feather it. See the mask. Okay, you can see I'm doing this with the stars in the image. And we are avoiding the stars via luminosity masks. Not avoiding, but we are protecting the darker stuff from applying any options. Okay, hide the ends. Let's see some blue and red. Let's try some clarity, but a tiny bit. Pixel size is 3. To see even more texture. You can see now this part. Let me bump up some more so you can see even more. So you can see how textures are visible in these parts. This may be too crazy. Let's lower it down. And now before after, you know, it's looking even better. So you now know how you can tweak it even more than it is. And these tweaks do tend to add up, and when you have the original and the final one, you'll see how much you did on this particular nebula or galaxy or course or something else. Okay, I'm liking this. I will apply and continue. Cigar Galaxy is now looking good, but the Bode Galaxy is a little bit flat. So Let's enable luminosity masks, add region, and now I will select the whole galaxy. The core is now okay, and we don't have to tone down the brightness of the core, but I want to fix the whole galaxy and some of the textures and contrast and colors, like so. Okay, let's say this is good enough. Of course, let's feather it and let's see the mask. Are we getting the whole galaxy or just a part? We want that outer parts also. Okay, we can go to the depth 2 again, play with these depths because they are important. Let's go to 1 and see what happens. So now I want some vibrance. It pops out now, the colors. Let's do some highlights. Okay, now also I'll use the clarity with a smaller radius on 3 and click it here. Now you have to be careful because we are now sharpening the stars in the galaxy. Not in the galaxy, but stars that are in the image in front of the galaxy. But you'll see that if we don't go too far, the changes are not that obvious. Okay, let's bump up some saturation. And what if we do some brightness? Maybe it's too bright, the whole galaxy. A tiny bit. Look at this. It's flat, and now it has some textures and contrast and even color. Looking far better. And it's all done inside of the mask. Depth 1. Okay, apply and continue. Now, when we are satisfied with what we did with the galaxies and the masks, we can now apply the global adjustments on the whole image. We also have to have in mind that we must protect the galaxies to not overbrighten them again. This time I'll use luminosity masks, but I will go to the dark side of the force. The depth will be 2. I'll show you the mask. It is now global, we don't have any selected region. This is the mask. So the white parts are now targeted because this is darks, and the black stuff is protected. So anything we do here will be applied only on the white part of the image. So if we boost the contrast, we'll get this. The contrast will be applied only on the background, and our galaxies and stars will be protected. We can see the before after. As you can see, it's gradually toning down the background so we can have some more contrast. We also do see some integrated flux nebula across these galaxies, and this masks also protects that part so we don't go to the black. If we remove this, we'll have okayish, but we will destroy this part that we worked on, and we want to protect that parts. That's why we have darks in place. So we protecting now the galaxies and applying contrast on the background. Also, if we want to lower down some chromatic noise in the background, we can also do this. And you can see that we have some better coloring, not coloring, but we are toning down the colors in the background. Again, not affecting the bright stuff, stars and galaxies. Galaxies will still have the colors we wanted. Now let's say I want to adjust things globally, but I want to protect the Cigar Nebula. What we want to do is go to the luminosity masks, enable luminosity, add region. Let's now do the masking again. Here it is. Now let's invert the mask. Click on invert. The ends will be blue. Show the mask, and now we are masking everything outside the mask, and this is additional feather that we want. So now the mask is outside. Now when we apply the global adjustments, hide this, we will affect the whole image via lights 1 depth, and let's do that. Okay, little blacks. Now we are not affecting this very bright core of the Cigar Nebula, and we want that. As you can see, we are protecting this part, and nothing is applying onto this part of the mask. We are only applying globally and on the Bode Galaxy, and I do want that. I'm showing you the possibilities of the masking and the invert masks and what you can do on one particular image via masking and applying global adjustments or adjustments on the masks. And now we have some better contrast in the Bode Galaxy and the whole image with protecting the core of the Cigar Nebula. Great. And that is essentially it. When you're done editing, just apply the final edit and you'll have yourself a final image. Of course, all this is possible to edit in the PixInsight with PixInsight tools, but you'll have many windows open and it tends to be overcrowded on the window. So this Lighthouse script that mimics Lightroom tools is a bit easier to handle, especially now when you have some options that you can select parts of the image and edit them a part of the rest of the image. And that's why I do like it and I do use it myself. That's why I built it. Hit that subscribe button or like or comment, join my Patreon, whatever you like. So see you in another one. Thank you. Bye bye.